What's it feel like?
The thing I would look up, if you go to a website called bodybuilding, and look up like, workouts, right? It'll show you exactly what it feels. The one big thing that I recommend is if you're just starting, is when you walk in, it all the machines, you sit in there in a circle, right? So you do any way you want. And you just go one machine at a time. And when I started with training, I went up to 40.
It's on the bed.
Are you sore after?
What is your parents going to be like?
Weird.
You can't tell them.
Weird.
I mean, the other thing that my personal recommendation is walk on the treadmill or on a bike or something for a little while. It gets your heart rate up. I usually do it at the end of my workout. What do you want to do in the gym? Like, what's your goal?
I hate that.
It's easier when
I hate the bed. It takes so long to get out of bed.
I like it. For me, it's most of the time,
It's so
if everything can go early in the morning, which is early. All you guys going in the morning, everyone in is, there's no kids there, nobody in the building really that goes at that time. It's mostly like, entrepreneurs, business owners, so many great contacts, some really good friends, really, super nice people. Big soccer fan?
Huge. Huge. I'm Portuguese. We gave it away.
So, he was a soccer player. They offered like $1 million to him to turn it down.
Yeah.
That the kind of place for Florida?
Massive.
Not Messi. No, because I know Messi. I'm not a soccer fan. It was a name I had never heard of. It was, I think like Saudi Arabia offered him.
Billion? No, nobody got offered a billion. The only person, the highest player is Ronaldo. Yes.
Ronaldo, I know as well.
Ronaldo's the highest player. They wanted to bring Messi in, but he didn't take it. He?
Messi, like 135 million.
Yeah, not that you said billion though, right? Did I hear you wrong?
No, you're right.
You said billion. I'm like, I don't know, man.
That's why I $106,000.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so out of the Middle East, so Ramos got the highest contract. He's got 250.
Do you play soccer too?
Not anymore, I used to, but all three of my kids do.
Jen, did you see that text from Nancy?
My claim to fame was.
What was that?
I'm Twin Boys, they're 18 now.
Oh, okay.
They were on a soccer team, and the coach quit before the season started.
Oh,
So
no.
he didn't coach. I played soccer, but discrimination. Not very good.
Are you taking grade?
Yes, I did grade. That's awesome. We were the only team to score 0 goals.
You see my comment?
There you go.
I was like, yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Let the kids do this.
You had a reverse clean sheet.
There is New Jersey laws against discrimination, but we'll leave that alone from a district perspective. We abolished it. So that's it.
Hey, I like the Prime Minister of Italian.
I got it out.
I'm going to bury the hatchet, which is
You don't have female parts, you cannot
Get out of
run
here.
Miss Italy. You cannot run
Which
for
one?
Miss Universe.
17.
It's nice to Europe is starting to see a bit of a resurgence of.
I don't know exactly what an escape
folks who are
room is.
supporting conservative
Locations
principles.
of that.
It's about
Holy mackerel.
But then you see the mess of
Real estate
France,
company.
where the Syrian conflict is going on.
Two bagel
All
stores,
those
hamburger
refugees.
store,
Wow.
flower shop.
Israeli conflict. You see, they've got all these folks who they let in who are now protesting in the streets.
That's awesome.
So I want to be on the board and help out with the finances.
I'm gonna sit next to James, I'd rather
You know,
sit next to
nobody
the
can
wife.
touch your balls.
Right.
Yeah, what are you gonna? Because I got 10,000 other people who won't ever pay. What do I care? I'm in biotechnology. Yeah, I'm in biotechnology. Yeah, for small. So molecule, which is stuff that's like injected, infused, versus pills and all that. So let's just try to finish some of the large pharma things. So I run the country in terms of
I was
contracts.
just, I was at least happy to see that, at least it seems like Lambert's is carrying.
What type of company, which company?
So it's a small company.
I really wish
we
you would
buy a
have
lot of
postcard,
drugs.
but that's the expensive
There's
thing.
a line of drugs. There's all kinds of
What's that?
long story short is everybody.
He wasn't clear on it.
Right?
I think when you can't get to your legs.
Don't worry about it. Your immune's gonna get stronger. So there are kids that are born without an immune system. I produce a manufacturer of a drug that is infused once a month. It's an immune system bottle. So it's really cool. So it's made from human plasma. So it's passed on the doses that
I'm with your wife.
it's really cool. It's different. But
It's funny, I always thought like the New Jersey Blood Center, there was one of those.
yeah.
I always thought like, I don't know if they sold blood.
Well, so here's the thing, so blood centers, what they'll do is they'll collect plasma, collect blood, right? And then what they'll do is they'll use that for donation. We have actual plasma donation centers, we call it donation centers, but really we're patient. So we come to donation, like Bible Belt.
I'm going to class now.
Honey, you gotta go this way. I don't want you tripping over the tables. There's one over that door. There's one over this one. All right, okay, go.
So it's interesting, so they all go there, and I don't know what the rate is, because that's on the manufacturing sector. But it's like, let's say $75, right? You sit there for an hour, you make $75. It's not even an hour, you're literally there for like 15 minutes. So they make like $75, so it's a Friday night therapy, right? You know?
Probably set up a trip.
Yeah, 10-cent beers and all that jazz, like in college, and all that college. So,
How'd you do that?
yeah, I've been in that for like 22 years now. I started off as a stockbroker, and it was a time when we were on the phone. Like, remember Green? Remember Wall Street? Shark Tank? That was me on the phone. I just started using those phones, and for me, I'm a cold call guy. Yeah, it's just I don't mind cold calling, but like everybody just knocks on your door and they're like, hey man, listen, oh, why don't I? Let me tell you why this is gonna work. And then you're like, all right, this is fucking
Who do you call it? Oh, it's you.
so I don't call on anybody anymore.
You're
So
one-on-one with the insurance.
I'm the guy. So my team calls on all the regional payers, like the Blues, the small companies, and then I do Aetna, I do United Healthcare, and I do those are my accounts. They're the biggest in the country, so I bear that responsibility. So it's just different. It's, you know, it's a job.
What is your argument? You try to get
So what we have to do is we have to provide real clinical evidence. Why is this drug so effective? Why is it necessary? Why does it work? How does it compare to the other drugs, right? That are less expensive. And then I have to present economic data, like, okay, if you use this product, it saves you on A, B, C, and D year. So, you know, there's the trade-offs, right? Nothing different, nothing new.
How is that? Is that a 1 hour? You make a presentation?
So what we do, so now you first you'll do a clinical presentation, and then what we'll do is they'll go back and they'll teach us, right? That makes sense. A couple of questions, we get that answer. And then we start negotiating a contract, and that's where I really come in, because like I'm the finance and economics. So I do something called the gross figures. Term you should know very well, being a business owner. What's my gross, what's my net? What do I have to pay out here? And what's my, COGS costing me? So I do all that. So it's cool, it's good. It's a job. I do, it's up and down my travel. So I just got back from like 4 days in Denver. I'm home for 2 weeks, then next week I'll be in Boca with some really good customers. That's where our manufacturing, Boca's great. That's where our manufacturing plant is in Boca. So, especially during the winter, it's nice to get in. They're like, oh, I gotta go to Boca. My wife's like, oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta go, babe, sorry.
I traveled 2 years ago in a business, and I traveled every single week.
Oh, that's tough. No, that's tough on the family. I'm not doing that. Like, my wife's like, and we have 3 kids, 3 younger kids. I'm not doing that.
My daughter hears your name, now she'll say this. Kristen, this is Howard.
I'm Howard, nice to meet you.
I remember Ricardo when you ran with us last year.
How are you? Nice to see you.
I guess you know each other.
I do have kids, not in Jackson.
Oh, no, you look familiar. I don't know.
I live on State Road. It's most wanted poster.
Oh, I gotta bring this home. Look, Karina wanted,
Yeah, sure, we'll do. I'll grab some. Hey, nice to see you. How's it going?
Kids, they were basically telling her.
I hear you. At first I thought this was a DJ.
But the policy seems to read that you can't self-employed.
Whatever you need, you got it.
So we'll curious to see.
So let me ask you a question. The axe throwing place. Which one of your businesses is the most fun to run? I know which one gives you the most stress. It's definitely the axe throwing.
It's not.
Really? Because of the
Actually,
danger?
No, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right now, I have crazy stress over a situation, like, normally I don't stress, I'll stress about things other people don't stress.
So she's, if
So,
she runs the business.
I have good systems in place, right? I have managers, regional managers, assistant managers, so I've got systems, right? In my two primary businesses, Karina and Amazing Estate, I employ, 350 people.
Wow.
So, and everything's good, no problem.
Yeah,
In my-
so they.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, yeah,
Good to see you.
Howard. Even,
How you doing? What's going on? We've got the pleasure of having our daughter 3 years in a row.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Karina Ramos.
Hi. And then myself, and I'm supposed to be like silent investor, super business school. But there's something called a six show, which is where
You get a lot of
says
repeats,
this
or
place
is
is
it,
coaching for everybody.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
So my two partners are fighting with each other. And one of them is one of those, so that always goes to that. So the rabbi says, if you don't do what he says, I'm taking your head. That's extra. Then we have to come down.
Right, that's a problem.
But some have to
So
stay out.
it's like, that's what we do, but like,
The really good
we
ones
haven't,
are the really
tonight,
bad.
haven't figured it out. I was trying to get in the middle of it, and when you do, I'm dealing with two unreasonable people, and I can't stand it.
Right. And and then you have religion at the center of it. Where you're like, oh my God, guys, let's just do business here.
We have enough of it.
No motions, this is just make business.
This is just business, let's make a business decision. What is best for the bottom line?
Nobody, they're not people.
Like, a reasonable person will always understand. So, my last text was, just close down, take a walk. And, just a walk, just a walk.
And they're like, no.
They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm supposed to be the rational one.
Yeah, because nobody likes to lose money. Nobody wants to take a bath on an investment. Oops, sorry guys. That's great. That's awesome.
I couldn't imagine working for a big business, like when you work for yourself for a long time. And, some of the bigger businesses I work with, it's so hard to get somebody to make a decision, it's hard to move on.
Oh, sometimes it is. It's impossible. It's impossible. You know, I have to say, I'm really lucky. So this CEO is a young guy. His name's Adam Millstone. 47, 48. Started the business 15, 20 years ago, give or take, right? Grew. So I'm there now 4 years. I've helped him grow the business exponentially. Like, so like, I'll call him, like, and he'll stop me. Like, why are you pitching me? Because I need this. He goes, look at the fucking check. He's like, why? He's like, why are you pitching me? He's like, how long are you here? I said 4 years. He goes, have I ever said no? I said no.
You guys are.
He's like, unless you have a real problem that like I have to sign off on, because he's kind of a little bit of a control freak, which I get, you know. It's a publicly traded company, I get it. Yeah, so he's like,
What's the symbol?
ADMA. Yeah. He's like, just sign the check, bro. Get the MSA, get the SLW, I don't care. Sign it. He's like, okay. I'm good. He's like, he'll always tell me, he's like, why are you selling me? Because I feel like I have to sell him on the concept. He's like, whatever, you tell me you need it, you need it. He's like, I'm good with it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all right.
That's what you want.
I'm like, give me more shares. Let's pull this thing up. Give me more shares. I want another 100,000 shares.
Do you do any other, do you do any investing now?
Personal investing? Yeah, I do. Yeah, have to. I'm not working till 90.
No.
I don't.
You just do long-term buy and hold, or do you option?
No. So I'll swing trade. I like swing trading quite a bit. I'm a little addicted to it, to be honest.
Right into that.
So So, you know, I have
You ever
multiple.
do SPY and SPX straight in?
No. There's certain equities that I have just traded for so long that I know them inside and out, and I know their swing patterns, and I always can make, you know, I can always make a couple of dollars on them.
But
And
every
but then
once in a
I
while
do
you get a ringer.
Oh, yeah.
Dexcom, for example.
don't even know it.
You'll know who it is. So they manufacture a diabetes drug. But this other company, Nirvana.
Oh, Novo Nordisk. Yeah, just bought them for 1.5 billion.
Exactly.
Yeah. I saw the deal. Yeah, I saw the deal. Did you have the stock though before you before the merger?
Yeah.
Why did you have the stock?
Sadly, my mother.
Oh, it's diabetic.
No. My brother works for Google. And he was managing my mother's stock. My mother passed away a little bit over a year ago. And I had part of her
She had it.
And she had it.
Oh, how'd she get it?
My brother's he's a good trader. He has a good job.
What's
He's
he do?
Product development for Google.
That sounds like it's pretty cool.
He was,
Engineer by training?
No. More, he has a financial degree, and he went to Columbia. He's a smart kid, super
Smart guy.
He always boxed me because, you know, I do okay with my.
I'm sure you do better than okay. You got like 1,000 locations and stuff. Wait, how many locations do you have for the escape room?
I have 9.
Wow. It's
I had
17
more.
for the
17,
Axe Play.
Yep. I had more before COVID. And then when I fought with some of my landlords and wasn't sure how long it was going to be closed, I just closed it down.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, who knew what was going on there?
That was insane.
You think?
Did you work during COVID?
From home, because I work from home. I don't go to an office. I'm remote. Always. I've worked from home. So when I was in the field selling, but I was always regional. And then over 10 years ago, when I got into senior leadership, like I'm an executive director, I work remote. I do everything remote. Unless I have to travel.
I don't think I'd be productive working with me personally. And I don't want my employees.
Honestly, I bang it out.
That's what
I bang it out. You know why? Because I realized how fortunate I am. Because my wife goes into the office 3 days a week. So I bang it out. You know why? Then I get up. I walk out for an hour. I mess around with my dog. Then I get down. Boom. I bang it out.
Where do you work out?
In my house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't like gyms.
You don't like gyms?
I have my own gym. I have a whole gym.
I have a gym at my house.
everything.
I've never used it.
Really?
Not one time.
I'll use your gym.
There you go.
I don't like people's gym. I don't like gyms.
No.
I like.
I like the energy. I like the competitiveness. I like
Yeah.
the,
I understand it. I get it. I don't like people.
No,
No, you know what it is? I just don't, with the running around, with my wife and I running with 3 kids around, I don't have the time to go to a gym. And, you know, I just can't sit there and listen to the guy grind. I can't do it. I'm an in and out guy. I have a specific way I train. That's the way I train. And I don't want to wait for people. No, I don't run. Mixed martial arts. Yeah, so a lot of jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. And then
I did kickboxing a long time. Art Bynes, Art Bynes karate.
Where's that?
It's right in Monmouth Road. It was like, it was mostly a cardio class, more so.
Oh,
like
cool. But that's awesome, man. That's fantastic.
It was good. I like all that stuff. I think it's great. I think it's the best.
I grew up doing it, you know. I grew up doing jiu-jitsu. Actually, I literally just gave up jiu-jitsu because I blew out in kickboxing. My scapulata, it's the ligament that holds the 3 bones. I blew it out. It's done.
But when you do kickboxing, you're actually more sparring than
Oh yeah.
hardcore.
Technique is like 20 minutes just to warm up, and then I really get into it. Like then we spar.
Right.
But I can't spar anymore because I blew this out. I blew my freaking back out. But I still have bags at the house.
Yep.
So I go in, I work the
Heavy
bag.
bags or small bags?
No, heavy bags.
Heavy bags.
So I'll work the bag like 20 minutes and like I'm dripping and
Right.
I'll take a shower, man, right?
It's good. Very good. It's funny is you're supposed to like change your workout up, right? As you get more comfortable with it.
Of course, yeah.
I don't change mine up as much as I.
Me either. It is what
Find
it
what
is.
you enjoy and things like that.
It is what it is. You know, what are you gonna do, man? It is what it is.
But it's good to keep going. Like you keep active.
gotta do it.
If you don't keep active, then
You gotta do it. And you know what? Like, so my oldest is gonna be 14 in December. So I'm like starting to easily work him into weight, lifting weight. It's just easy, like 'cause he's a soccer player, so he can't be this freaking Hulk.
Right.
But like, you want to get a little bit more muscle on, and it's just good for them,
Right.
man.
It's good for the mind, it's good for the body.
Yeah, it keeps them in control.
Right, exactly. They always say, create good habits.
Create good habits, you're
and-
spot
and
on.
you keep it. Yes.
You're spot
Some
on.
people are addicted to bad things, whatever, right? My habit is I like going to the gym and it makes me
Me
happy,
too.
right?
It makes me happy. It makes me happy. Like if I'm stressed out, I kid you not, if I'm stressed out, so I have a nice big office in the house. If I'm stressed out, I go up, I go around the table, I'll pump out 40 push-ups. Boom,
Yeah,
boom,
right.
boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, all right, take a breather. Because it's either that or get back on the phone and like tell this guy like, go after yourself. I don't really need your business.
Nope.
I don't want to do that. You just don't even want to live like that.
Same. I like that. I like the ability to
Release,
exert.
relax, relate, release. That's from Seinfeld. I didn't make that up.
Where were you in Philly? South Philly?
I'm sorry?
Where in South Philly?
I said that's from
from
Seinfeld.
Oh,
From
Seinfeld.
No, I said that's from Seinfeld.
I love Seinfeld. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Friends, and Seinfeld.
Oh my God, I love it. Larry David, hands down, still one of my favorite characters of all time. The dude is he's just ridiculous, man.
Very, very funny. So you have 14's your oldest. How old are you?
Oh, so yeah, I'm sorry. So my son Emilio will be 14 in the summer. My daughter Adelina will be 12 next month, in a few weeks. And my little guy will be 9 tomorrow night.
That's awesome.
My little guy.
So, but I have a 14-year-old.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, Ella. And then me and my partner, girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
She has a 14-year-old.
Oh,
and so,
lives with you?
Samantha, yes. Yeah, Samantha.
So they go to Millstone Middle?
They do.
Oh, where do they go? Jackson? Oh, is she with mom? I don't mean to pry. I'm just
I have a house in Jackson as well. All the friends are in Jackson. And it was like a big fight when we were moving.
There's a little advice. You might want to watch that. Get that to yourself because you're going to have some bozo that's going to figure that out. Just letting you know. Believe me, I'm from North. I keep my mouth
I
shut.
do own a house in Jackson, so theoretically.
No, but they'll be like, then why are you running for most on board?
No. Good point.
It's a freaking maniac.
Yeah, no.
Believe me when I tell you.
I see on the pages, but only.
These people are bonkers, man. Like, here you are. I told some guy last year, I'm like, let me tell you something. This is my personal time.
Right.
My time is worth money. You're some knucklehead who sits at home watching Monday Night Football, drinking 10 beers. And I'm doing this to protect your kid.
Right.
Like, are you breaking my chops? What's wrong with you? People are nuts, man. Well, I commend you for doing it.
Thank you.
I really do.
You know what? I see the stuff that goes on in my private industry. I look at Board of Education budgets and stuff.
And you're like, what's going on? Yeah, it's illogical.
And my thing, I pay a lot of money in taxes here.
Of course, yeah.
And, I don't know, like, it's funny because I can get the farmland preserve, right? But I feel bad doing it.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right.
I would say the sniff test, right? It doesn't pass the sniff test.
That's right. My wife always says, if you're okay with it being on the front page of the Times, do it.
Do it, right.
If you're not okay with it,
Don't do it.
think twice. What we started implementing with my son is that a wise decision or a foolish decision?
Right.
Think about it. And he doesn't like that because it makes him think about it. Right?
Exactly.
Excuse me, let me get rid of this.
No worries.
This time we didn't, it was already taken when someone signed up. 6:30. I'm like, what? Do I play all the first day? Usually I can't do that. I played there for 6 And I thought it was early the second day. I'm like, oh, it's 6 day. She was like, no, it's already 12:30. I'm like, 7:45. I'm driving home. I feel like it's 10 o'clock. I'm like, that's not yeah, it was gonna be at work. I know. And you gotta rush out. Now, the kids get home, well, the older ones get home at 3. And it is always 4 to 5:30. And then we rush back to get them to rush home, have dinner, and then go to the meeting. So it's like Monday to Friday. Yeah. Definitely a rush. I stick to one thing. I stick to one thing. Right now that it's cold, once a week they're great. You know, like maybe we'll do that. Not too far.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh yeah,
Welcome everybody to tonight's meet and greet. Thank you for anybody who's tuning in live online. For right now, we're going to start off by playing the national anthem, and then maybe afterwards, if somebody would like to lead in the Pledge of Allegiance, we can do that. And then if anybody has anything they want to say afterwards, we'll get on to that. All right. So let's start off by doing the Pledge of Allegiance, all right? Or not the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm sorry, the national anthem. I'm sorry we don't have a flag to face, but if everybody would stand for the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so bright super loud. You got the power of the mic behind you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for that. So I guess at this point, is there anything that you guys wanted to say, or you just want to mingle a little bit and say hello to everybody first? Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. Everybody's going to mingle for a little bit, and we'll get back to it later on. The candidates will be making statements and speeches and giving their platforms. We'll be watching the video and a few other things. So those who are tuning in live, make sure you keep watching. We'll get back to you.
How are you? I'm picking out here. I didn't eat all day. What happened?
Yeah. To my right hand.
Really?
Yeah, last night it started.
You better go to the doctor.
Coming back in like 10 minutes, but
It's lucky it's not the left side. You probably had a stroke.
my wife didn't worry about it. She was calling ambulance. It's not normal. What's that? I'm a writer.
Did you have a lot of stress lately?
Yeah.
It happened to me. I had pain on the top of my head, my hands, like 2 days straight. Went to the doctor. I said, you're in the middle of spring season.
you're on to worker. So you're one of the
You got my number, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well,
Pretty good. I think it's Malaya's pretty good. I did.
really too cold.
But then you know what? I'll never go back to that. Priceless. But everything there is 30% more.
I wanted to go.
And gasoline, $11 a gallon. $3.50 a liter. Isolate.
I wanted to go.
$3.50 a liter, right? So what is a liter? Is 30.4 liters made up of gallons.
56 cents to our children.
Yeah, it's about $10 or $11 a gallon. Sick, right? I drove the whole country. I drove the country.
oh, you did?
Yeah, I rented. I don't want to be. I'm not a tour bus guy. You know, get a little bus.
Yeah, no. So you drove around Iceland. That's sick.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
stuff?
rented a short. No snow, which is
No?
no, I wouldn't go.
I started to
No, it was pretty. They want to go in November right now.
Ice.
So it's still 13 hours, 12 hours daylight.
Yeah, we got a good day.
Hey, Dave.
Wow.
We got a spinal guy right here. What'd you do to yourself?
I don't know. I can't move. I can't move my arm.
Since when?
Yeah, bloody hell. No. I don't fuck around with shit.
You have shoulder pain?
No, bloody elbow.
I play every I'm at a 40
Huh?
I told you she got it. Okay? I'll be home in a half hour.
This side.
You have pain in the elbow?
Yeah, he doesn't pain. One
I
is
just want to see if it's swollen. Because an upper extremity PVT is the worst thing in the world.
I mean, I've had hurt my shoulder. I could try to find my leg.
Really hurts here. Are you working out before this? That hurt a lot.
Drive around. Get in the car and drive around. This is the best
Like my hands this morning, I wanted to do this one. How is this one? Right.
Just checking. Unless you got
I was wondering.
good. So, neurovascular bundle, you don't have. When you move, you can move your shoulder. You can move your shoulder.
Yeah, my
See that?
shoulder. Yeah.
Raise your arm to your side. Raise your elbow to your side. You
No.
Yeah.
can't do that because it hurts here.
Same thing. Heading over the water, up and warm. Don't stress. It's no problem.
The other way.
Oh, and that aspect. Oh, and that aspect.
Pain is right here. recommend the bio.
So if you want,
What's up, man?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll give you my number. I'll be in the OR in the morning. You off tomorrow? Can't do much, right? So this hurts, extensor here hurts.
Yeah.
Flexor here. You can't flex. And your flexor hand is all here. So it's all here and all here. Yeah, I think you have an overuse syndrome. Ice the shit out of it tonight.
Ice the shit out of it tonight.
20 on, 20 off. And you're gonna call me tomorrow. I'll meet you in the office on the OR in the morning. And I'm gonna shot it. So acoustic wave shot for you. But you can keep this on, it's fine. Keep pressing on.
I kind of felt better after this.
So, I just wanna say something. Keep it on. It's an overuse syndrome. What bothers me is if it starts expanding, then I gotta worry about some collateral outwards. Lots of fluids. A shit ton of fluids the next day.
All right.
I'll be in the OR.
So Dave, say thank you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Probably in the OR until like Hudson Tech.
You guys getting in an RV or what? He loves it.
Howard.
How you doing, Howard? Ken, nice to meet you. Lucia?
Lucia.
Howard? How you doing, Howard?
You guys been in town a long time?
Not really. 6 years, 7 years.
Where'd you live before?
Sarah.
I lived in Millstone for
Oh, yeah.
I used to go to Hunter Bulk.
Oh, yeah. My yard is right down the street, down the store.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Only a mile down. In Viking Road.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know the border. I think that warehouse that was over there. Big warehouse that used to be like.
I like it out. I really love it out here, but I miss Sarah. Sarah was good down. It's going a little crowded.
You know what's funny? I don't know where you grew up. Yeah, I grew up on West Coast.
Oh, I know.
I lived in Jackson. Jackson's got really complicated.
Yeah.
So when we located here, we were able to have 9 acres now.
Yeah. It's nice,
I
right?
have no medical problems, you know, about that, right?
I lived in Jackson, which is next town.
Under my shoulders.
Oh, wow.
We sold, when we, I'm Jewish, so I'm not playing this. Pre-COVID, we had 0 Orthodox. Right now, my neighbor's probably 90%.
Oh, wow.
We all been there. So fun.
The biggest thing I've done with
So, it's all nice to
They stick to themselves.
just to get the.
Stick together.
my oldest is 28. They have a 21-year-old daughter, twin boys that are 18, and my youngest is 14.
Oh, awesome.
Your kids?
Yeah, we have almost 14 in December. 12 and 8.
You know what? It's better. I should try to raise kids like a son with my kids than my son.
Yeah.
A lot less problems.
I know, I think so too. But the only problem is, if there was a bad side to it, it's that they don't get well-rounded. You know, they don't learn how to defend themselves. They don't learn about diversity and stuff. You know, like, you know, there's so much of a mix. You know?
I would in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You get to meet everybody.
So you gotta be careful.
And they're a little spoiled out there too, I got to say. We're riding dirt bikes on the property. You know?
The quads, the quads.
Animals, two dogs. We had the
We're unaccustomed to
You have
clothes.
My wife works So we have 5,
They get
some,
swollen.
they get real
They would
flat.
have a real problem.
That's awesome. I love that.
I like that.
I wanted to be a veterinarian.
My son, you're lucky. We have peacocks, we have chickens, we have ducks, we have pigs,
Nice.
and two cats.
You got the ducks are messy, aren't they? We had ducks.
Even almost like a cock-up split.
In Sarah.
You want to have a new truck like that?
They used to swim with me in school. Nice meeting you.
Ice both sides, keep them neutral as much as you can tonight. Gotcha.
Did you get diagnosed? Good. I'm glad.
He's basically got the combination of a golfer's and a tennis elbow.
Oh, man. What were you doing? I probably don't want to know. Excuse me.
Gave you my word.
You're right, your hands are hurt, huh?
Oh, my neck.
Happened last week, I thought none of it. You know, I woke up in the morning, I was good. Last night, I figured out, usually about 24 to 36 hours after you do it to yourself. Oh, yeah.
No stuff. Actually, I didn't know casino nights are fun.
You're lucky. You're lucky if it extends.
In a minute, we're gonna, the candidates are gonna have a few things to say, so in a minute, we're gonna, have a listen to them. Grab your pizzas and snacks and drinks now.
This is good. This is good.
You had business you were doing, what we doing?
Yeah, I remember we hung out on the casino. What was your name again? Doug.
American.
Donna, right? I remember her name only because my mom's Donna and my landlord. And my first girlfriend.
Never got out.
Who flies it?
So he'll remember that. That's how he remembers my name.
I would have never brought a French girl like that. I would have never.
I was telling her from Costa Rica.
Are you ready? We need one more.
Not allowed. Serving company.
What do you do? Ah.
It's over there.
When I was a terrible Spanish teacher. Wow. Were you football school?
In my dialect. My parents were so
Pretty cool.
yeah.
We spoke Brooklyn English.
Yeah. They immigrated to Brooklyn, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
That's where my father first was living.
That's a good shirt. Smart as a mother. I like that.
Thank you very much. This shirt was inspired by somebody in town who literally called me the exact thing on the shirt. So much like the deplorables statement, this became my deplorables statement. I actually started giving this shirt away in contests, just to spite that. Anyway, thank you everybody who showed up today. Thank you for everybody who is tuning in online. I am keeping an eye on the YouTube chat, so if anybody has any really pressing questions, I could try to get them to the candidates if you're not able to make it actually physically out here tonight. But anyway, for right now, what we want to do is the candidates, Karina Ramos and Howard Klotzkin, have a few things that they would like to say. They would like to introduce themselves, and we'll take it from there. That microphone should be on.
Good evening, everyone.
I'll turn it up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy agendas and coming here to support us or to ask any questions you guys feel proper. We're here to answer what we can at our best of our ability. So thank you so much for coming. I'm Karina Ramos.
Again, I want to reiterate, thank you so much for coming. My name is Howard Klotzkin. I'm new to town, but I love it here, and I'm excited to be able to run for the Board of Education. We're going to start with this short video.
Yes, they want to start with a short video from Prager University, so I'm going to dim the lights slightly so hopefully everybody can see it a little bit better. So just give me 1 second here. And let's dim some of these. There we go. So everybody can hopefully see that a little bit better. All right, so here we go. I can't see what I'm doing, so let me come over there. It's a touch screen, so yeah, if you could just tap the play button. There we go.
What do progressives have against high school girls and college women? For that matter, what do they have against high school boys and college men? Let's start with females and how a celebrated law meant to promote opportunities for girls and has, thanks to progressives, been turned against them. The law is Title IX. It was passed over 50 years ago. It's only 37 words. Here they are. No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. As a quick aside, the bill was signed into law by a Republican president, Richard Nixon. He was all for it. So were most Americans. For decades, there was little confusion about what those simple words meant. Women get the same opportunities as men. But today, those words are being twisted to mean something entirely different. In 2016, the Obama-Biden administration decided that the word sex in Title IX didn't mean sex as in male and female. It meant gender identity. Consider what this means. A woman is no longer a woman as defined by science and as defined by humanity since the beginning of time. A woman is now also a man who claims to be a woman. His male chromosomes, male brain, male hormones, male reproductive system, and male muscles and bones, none of these matter. All that matters is that he says he is a woman. Then he can compete with women in women's sports, use the women's locker room, and receive scholarships reserved for women. To deny any of that was now sex discrimination and therefore violated Title IX. I'm proud to say I put a stop to the nonsense while returning Title IX to its obvious meaning. But President Biden, on the first day of his new administration, reversed my policy and reinstated the policy of President Obama. The Biden administration is currently rewriting Title IX so that the original words, on the basis of sex, will be changed to, on the basis of gender identity. If this revision becomes law, not hyperbole to say that the end of women's sports is at hand. Even the greatest women's tennis player of all time, Serena Williams, admitted she had no chance of beating a top-ranked male player. Riley Gaines,
a top college swimmer, lost to a low-ranked male swimmer, Will Thomas, after Thomas changed his name to Leah and declared himself to be a woman. What Gaines and her teammates were forced to endure, Thomas walking around his birthday suit in the women's locker room, only added insult to injury. But new interpretations of Title IX are not only being used against women, they're also being used against men. And once again, we have to go back to the Obama-Biden administration. In 2011, it sought to address what it perceived to be a sexual assault problem on college campuses. Fair enough. But rather than focusing on prevention, it decided to focus on punishment. The administration used Title IX and its language about preventing discrimination against women as the basis for discriminating against men. They did this by requiring schools to assume that the accused in a sexual assault case, mostly men, but not always, was guilty until proven innocent. That's the very opposite of America's innocent until proven guilty judicial standard and an obvious violation of due process, the bedrock of American justice. It's in our Constitution, twice. Students were accused and convicted of sexual assault by their schools without a fair chance to defend themselves. They had no opportunity to confront their accuser, who, presumed a victim, was shielded by school authorities who didn't want to add to her trauma. Being falsely accused of sexual assault is terrible. The damage to one's reputation is immediate and sometimes permanent. But not being able to defend yourself, not being able to confront your accuser is even worse. At the same time, victims of sexual assault were seeing their cases ultimately thrown to court because their school had blatantly violated the due process rights of the accused. Again, while I was Secretary of Education, we fixed this. We issued a regulation affirming that we must both assault and ensure due process rights are protected. And again, the Biden administration moved swiftly to undo what we had done, returning to the guilty until proven innocent approach. It's unfair, it's unjust, and it's un-American. For half a century, Title IX promoted and protected the rights of both men and women. If the progressives have their way, that will no longer be the case. A good law is about to become a very bad one, unless Congress, the courts, or the voters say no. I'm Betsy DeVos for Prager University.
Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Or I'll just turn this
So I got a
side.
question for you, okay? So, just because it's school law, no way does that trump criminal law, right? So you're allowed a trial of your peers, and you're allowed to present your case. So in what ways, you're gonna genuflect back, but in what ways does Title IX supersede the other laws of our country? So if I'm in school, and I know the way it's being perverted right now, but if somebody tells me you've sexually assaulted somebody, I said, listen, you're a little off base, get the police in here, we'll discuss it. It's my right to ask for a police officer to show up right away. And we'll squelch that immediately. So I think part of this is teaching your kids that we still have a law of the land. Who cares what they say in school? Because this is going on in colleges, by the way. And I have a friend who teaches at the college level. And just so you all know, if a boy at 20 or 21 go and hugs a girl in the auditorium, and somebody feels that made them feel uncomfortable in the lunchroom, that's now chargeable under Article 9. Meaning that you made me feel uncomfortable, I'm reporting that, and that boy can be held to the side. But according to judicial law, I don't care what the school law says, they cannot hold that kid. That's my understanding of the law. Hopefully there's a lawyer in here somewhere.
So the answer is that truthfully, I can't speak on that, I don't know. I am, as I believe Karina is, we're very much for parents' rights and parents first. You know, the school's there to help guide everybody, but parents are ultimately in charge of their children and their children's actions.
And at the end, these are kids, you know? We have to be responsible for our children. You know, they shouldn't be confused about
This
gender
is going all the way
identity.
up though. This is going to the college level, because
Yeah.
I know I have a friend who plays college sports, and they're being warned by their coaches, public displays of affection may be viewed by other people as making them uncomfortable. Which is rubbish, right? We all agree that you want to hug your girlfriend or boyfriend, who cares? I mean, that's you guys, right?
They don't allow it in the schools, I don't think, right? Elementary still, because my kids are older.
By the way, if anybody wants to come up and directly ask a question into the microphone, if you have a lot to say, you know, it's a lot easier to be heard rather than shouting over everybody. If you'd like to come to the mic, that's an option. Just want to put that out there.
Thank you, Rainey, for your comment, and I agree 100%. I mean, if there's nothing on the basis of, like you said, rubbing the wrong way, you know, it's just a hug, you know, and a lot of people that they lack affection, you know, and it depends where it comes from, but at the end, if it was just a genuine hug, I mean, I feel like they're looking for trouble any way possible. Nowadays, they want to ban all the good, and they want to just advertise all the bad. I don't understand why, you know.
I think the point of that video was kind of, you know, and I don't want to speak for the candidates, but how things slip themselves into our school systems, into the political system that sound like they're good, and then before you know it, guess what? It's working directly against the interest it initially tended to serve. So I think that part of the issue was that that this sort of thing could maybe slip into our public schools in a way. So that's why it's important for us to have board members who are conscious that this sort of thing is going on. Sure, maybe it's not going on everywhere, maybe it's not extremely rampant, but here's the thing. You need to have elected officials who are aware of these things and want to keep parents in the loop so they know what's happening with their children.
Well, I'm glad policy 5756 was abolished. I'm very glad, because there's no need that we need to have boys in the girls' bathroom or vice versa. You know, everybody deserves their privacy, you know, and there's no need because an 8-year-old think they're a girl or a boy, they're just gonna walk in and make everybody else uncomfortable. That's not called for. You know, boys should be boys. If scientifically they were born as a boy, let them be a boy and let them be a girl. And at the end of the day, when you're old enough to understand where you stand, then you do what you have to do. But right now, these are children we're talking about. These are kids. Amen.
So is there anything that you guys want to say directly, or do you want to maybe take some questions from anybody that has any, or?
We can let the public know where we stand, and we can take questions.
Now, so remember, anybody that's on YouTube, if you want to post a question in the comments, I will relay it to our candidates here. But for right now, we're going to take priority for the people that are here. So, Kenny, I think I saw you raise your hand. Do you want to come up, or you just want to ask from where you are?
Yeah, I was gonna make a small comment, and I don't know how anyone else feels about this, but I think one important thing is that I think the school systems really in the state and stuff like that, and around here as well, it's the problem that these teachers and everyone in the school kind of wants to raise our kids without us knowing a lot about what's going on. And that's the biggest problem. You know, they want to like manipulate and, you know,
and push this
and
agenda.
push certain agendas, and not like your kid wants to go to the girls' bathroom, wants to be a furry, all these different things where they don't even want you to know about it. They want to encourage it and say, it's okay, you know, your secret is safe here, but it's not safe with your parents. So, you know, hide from your parents and you're safe here. So they kind of like almost turn the kids against you if you allow it to happen. That's why like constant conversation with your kids are so important, because people are trying to manipulate your kids into like, you know, thinking you're the bad guy because you believe in the normal, I call it, you know? Boys, girls, not animals and everything else, you know what I mean?
No, I agree 100%. And who more than us as parents raise our kids? We have our kids to them 100% of the time because we're under our roof and we try to protect them and raise them with our values and everything else. And then when they go to school and they want to be part-time boys or girls, how are we supposed to support them if they're hiding that from us?
Correct.
How? You know, they shouldn't hide anything from the parents. You know, but they want our approval to get an EpiPen or administer a Tylenol, but then they don't want our approval because they want to be a boy and a girl because they want to be protected.
Isn't that ironic?
At the end of the day, it's about communication, and if you don't have a good platform with your kid, you don't have good communication, you're not going anywhere. You know, it's about communication with everything, marriage, your kids, anywhere you go, it's about communication. And there's also mental health going on, but at the end of the day, we have to communicate. That's how we get along, you know?
Well, I'll actually speak about
And
one
we
other
have to hold everybody accountable. We have to hold the teachers accountable, and if the state says that something has to go, like the 5756, but you have board members who strongly believe that they're incorrect, you can't be sheep and follow. You have to be leaders and take charge and not allow people to push things down your throat that you know are clearly incorrect, and stand up for what you believe.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want their kids put on their kids. They wouldn't want that put on their kids. So why do they do on ours? They shouldn't. They should respect our children. They should stick to teaching. That's what they're there for, to teach the fundamentals of math, reading, science, nothing else. Let the parents do what we have to do. That's why we're parents. Okay? We know better than them what our kids need and when they need it.
So lastly about communication, I think is the biggest thing, and you're saying communication is everything, because even with these HIB investigations, you talk to certain people, and like, oh, I got a HIB. It's like all these things where at times, sometimes you could approach the other parent if you find out who it is, but sometimes they won't even tell you who it is. But if you end up finding out who it is, you talk to them, and before you know it, the kids are best friends. But to bring it to a state level because a kid got into an argument, or a kid said that maybe another kid smelled, or some the simplest little thing.
Yeah, let me tell you, now people are too sensitive. Now when you talk to someone, it's like you're walking on eggshells. Why? You know, back then we grew up with telling people, yo, you stink, because you stink.
Say it the way it is.
You know? And if you think about it, there's no filter with kids, you know? And I don't understand why people are so touchy with little things like that, you know?
They want to control, any way to control.
Exactly, but why? At the end of the day, if you smell, you smell. I mean, there's a time and a place, right? There's a time and a place.
Remember, the emperor has no clothes, right? The emperor has no clothes.
I got a question on curriculum. Right now, as it stands, when does health and sex ed become part of the curriculum? Is it 5th grade, is it 6th grade?
In California, it starts
Here.
in 1st grade. Here, it starts in 6th grade, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, also, it depends on what exactly you mean, because speaking to, not as my reporter self tonight, but speaking as a parent tonight, I know that they already had sent home my kids, I have twins, they are in kindergarten, and they already had sent home opt-out forms for the health curriculum class. Now, from what I can see, there's nothing in there that I would necessarily construe as political, one way or the other. But there was a question of, why are we even approaching this so early? It seems a little bit young to be, some of the concepts going over in the curriculum seem a little bit advanced for kids even my kid's age. So once again, which I think is the platform that they're running on, is parental rights, keeping you guys in the loop to know what exactly is going on with your kids and what they're trying.
I have a handout that they gave us when we did the sex education courses or the curriculum in the middle school. So 3 to 5th grade, okay?
With 3rd to 5th?
3 to 5th, okay? They want to teach our kids about masturbation. 3 to 5th grade. We're talking about 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8 and 10. Like, really? Does my 10-year-old need to know how to masturbate? Why? They should be playing with G.I. Joes, not knowing what masturbation is.
Yeah.
You know, whatever happened to, again, reading, writing, our scores are below the grade level. Why? Because we're focused on this bullshit, if you think about it. We're focused on nonsense that we should impress on our children. We should be concerned of what they're learning. We should be concerned about, you know, let them be good human beings. Let them learn about math, everything that's proper, so when they graduate, you know what, they're great human beings for the community. They know how to do their lives. They know what taxes are. They know all that. We're not even preparing our kids for the real world. You know, think about it. We're not. You know, some kids be like, what does interest rate mean?
So,
What is a credit card? Like,
other than
really?
masturbation, which I'm sure our kids are doing very well at. Finally, we're breaking some scores here. But when do we introduce fertility and things like that? And you know, hormonal changes, is that also concurrently 3rd through 5th grade?
Yes, it
Okay.
says here, explain common human sexual development and the role of hormones, example, romantic and sexual feelings, masturbation, mood swings, timing of pubertal onset. Okay? And they also want to explain the relationship between sexual intercourse and human reproduction. It just says pregnancy and yeah. That's what it says here. It says, explain the range of ways pregnancy can occur. Okay, but they're 10. They're 10 years old.
They need to maintain
I'm
their
not
innocence.
I'm not against the science part of it, but let's kick it around. So what kind of things would you like to see them teach?
Sure.
Because I think it's important for them to learn the science.
So I'll
And
say
maybe
from-
not the psychological manifestations of what's going on, and maybe keep it a little brick and mortar for them, eh?
Brick and mortar perhaps, I think it should wait till a little bit older, at least
Sure,
13,
so what do we
14
think?
minimum. But I also think that there's a lot of things that they should be teaching in school, such as how to balance a checkbook, how to sign your signature. A lot of, you know, my boys are 18, and they barely know how to like do a good signature on the check. That's what they should be teaching in school. But teaching sex ed at that age, it takes away from everything that I believe in.
Exactly. Like, why must we teach this at such an early age? I'm not against it.
No, no, so I'm trying to didact out what kind of messes with their heads and what things, because my kids ask me questions, and I'll go to videos and I'll explain stuff. That's my parent responsibility. If they ask me, I feel comfortable with that. And I don't mind the school teaching science-based stuff, right? You can ask me about DNA and why do I look like mommy or this or that, or that's fine. Those are
And that's proper.
That's
I think
proper.
that's proper.
So obviously, if you take that foray into masturbation and how I feel funny in public, that's a little bit of a stretch for the psychological development of a 4th grader. But I think somewhere along that line is kind of a sweet spot that maybe it bears out that we all have these discussions. Because I'm not against the science in any respect. And I think earlier we introduced some form of the science. The kids need to understand things, and they need to be able to process at their own grade level. I agree with you.
But people have to challenge things when they see that they're not correct.
100%.
Too many people go, okay, that's what it is. It's not what it is.
Why do I have brown eyes, Dad?
Right.
So, you know,
But
that's
that's
explainable.
proper, you know, but then, and I feel like it goes on grade levels, like you said, you know, let everything be on a grade level where you think a kid is maturely enough to understand the whole concept of what is being taught. But at, let's say 8-year-old or 9-year-old, oh yeah, so this is masturbation, like, really?
So who's setting this up right now?
Government.
Is this the state school
Yes.
board?
Yes, we live in a liberal New Jersey.
Everything is
now.
state handed down?
Yes.
And it's just so.
And there's no variation
No.
from, so
Absolutely not.
the state dictates everything.
paid to push this agenda.
Yeah.
So, with all due respect, given that we live in an extremely liberal democratic state, how do we conform to kind of stuff that we want?
Town by town.
But you said you can't do that.
Well, one man until, you get away with it until, you know, they come take you away.
When there's mandates passed, let's say there's mandates for the board, we are able to elect whether we want to keep the mandate or not.
For now.
For now, yeah, that's what,
So we've been turning down certain, okay.
it depends on who's sitting on the
So we
board
have
at the
some
end of the day.
ability then.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
I mean, obviously you can't say, we're not gonna teach math, we're not gonna teach.
Yeah, no,
Right. But-
to some degree, you know,
Okay.
there's things that us as parents feel like it's not adequate, and we can, that's why we need our voices. We need to make sure we all get together and we let them know we're not okay with this, you know. And you opt out or opt in.
Nothing should be
Well, but
rubber
that's it,
stamped.
you opt out or opt in,
Yeah.
you don't change the curriculum.
It's impossible at the town
It's
level.
impossible, that's my point, you can't change curriculum.
No, but you can push back on it, and you can make it clear that you disapprove of it. And you can teach it at home.
I'm just trying to figure out the way this stuff shakes out.
Well, give them the example of what just happened, where we opted out of something.
Sure, there was a 5756, policy 5756, basically was
A transgender policy.
transgender policy, but basically the state said that it was mandated and it was required. And then last week, well, what was it, 3 weeks ago, Millstone fortunately voted to ban the policy, to reject the policy.
Oh, so the whole school board, so it's not one parent voting in or voting out, the school board.
The school board, Board of Education, people on
We
board.
raised our voices, we
Okay.
raised our concern, we thought it was not appropriate for our children, therefore we were able to get it abolished.
Good.
So
Okay.
kudos to those sitting on the board that helped get it abolished, because it was a major concern for us parents, you know? And other towns too also got it abolished.
Brilliant.
But not everybody on the board even voted for it to be abolished.
There was two
Yes,
members,
the word.
there's actually two members now that are running for re-election that actually did not go with it. It's Kathy Reincroft and Mark McClafferty. They actually wanted the policy 5756 to be introduced. Why? Why must we let the school let our kids know or do what they think is right, when at the end it's our responsibility and we are the parents? Don't we know better what's good for our kids? Why must we let the board decide what is good for our kids or the school? Why?
And I think that's kind of the crux of the issue, is that no matter what you believe, shouldn't the parents be involved in what is
100%.
being taught to their children? Now, I hate to cut you off, but we do have somebody else who wants to ask a question here. So we'll come back to you later if you have any other question. But let's try to move on a little bit for right now.
This is not a question, but this is facts. I've attended every meeting, every single board meeting in the last 3.5 years, except for one meeting. The main thing here is we need to elect board members. We're gonna push back. 5756 wasn't just thrown out because board members decided to. It's because we were there every meeting in their face, letting them know, emails. Everybody get out and email up the wazoo, and that's why that policy was abolished, because of us being there, up there, and emailing and never giving up. And there's a few more, but there was basically 2 or 3 of us there pushing. The other thing I want to say is MTEA. There's an agenda there. Maybe someone could speak there for you if you're, I don't know if you're here to, send the message, but a couple other people left. You could send the message to the whatever they're called, because they're funded and there's big funds there, and they're giving so much money to these groups. We're having groups come in, I don't know if any of you know. We have Garden State Equality come in. They're paid actors. They were fighting us like fist up and everything. They're paid actors. You could probably, fend for your side.
They don't live in Millstone.
No, exactly. And maybe you can give the other side's view, But just to let you know. He's not in the union. Yeah, well, you're here for a reason. We know why you're here. You're not on our side. Tell them. You're not on our side. Do you have kids in the district? Do you have kids in the district?
No, I do not.
No. Do you work in the district?
Yes.
So why are you here? Are you really concerned for our kids?
Why?
No, because you've been running on the other side with these people who are funded. And that's the only reason why you're here. Tell the truth. This is where we need to get this right. Because people are here for an agenda in our schools. They want to take over parenting. It's not going to happen. You're not going to parent our kids.
I have to moderate a
Everybody
little
else.
bit. I love Kathy. Kathy's a friend of mine, but you know what? Let's try to stick to our questions to the candidates and not.
No, I want to speak to you.
Yeah, and not attacks against each other. If you would like to come up and speak and respond to anything that was just said to you, you're more than welcome.
I can't continue.
If you have something else to say, but let's just try not to.
Well, we've been attacked. It's very hard to say
Right, well,
we've
then
been
let's talk.
attacked. We've been the minority, and your side has been the majority. I'll leave you out of it now. But there's the other side has been the majority for a real long time. We were 2 or 3 little people that pushed back on everything they wanted.
And I don't know why the teachers feel the need to be involved in this. I had state police call to my house 6 days later after a meeting, just to let you know how this works in this town. So state police were like, what's going on? So it was a personal favor. They sent the state police to mine and 2 other people's house 6 days later because they didn't like what we got rid of. We got the board to vote our way, but it was a bully tactic, you know, whatever you want to call it. But there's money coming in. I wouldn't give to the Teachers Association anymore. I wouldn't give to the Teachers Association. You know what? You want to fund specific things privately, do that. But I wouldn't give to the Teachers Association. All that money's going to fight against us parents because they want to parent our kids. They've been fighting us for years.
Now that you're talking about money, that's a good thing that I want to bring up. My concern, are you done? I'm sorry. No.
You can come back.
I just want to get the
Everybody,
truth out there.
I'm never gonna tell somebody that they're not allowed to say something, so just let me make that clear. Everybody's allowed to say something, I'm not gonna shut down anybody's speech, but let's just try to give everybody turns. That's the only thing, I'm trying to be the best moderator that I can be, but I don't wanna shut anybody down either.
Thank you for your statements, we appreciate it. But, you know, we'll say not all teachers are bad teachers.
No.
We need people to educate our children. My family is, 2 of my brothers are teachers, my mother was a teacher.
Right.
And there's some great teachers
Plenty of
out
family
there.
members, but I'm not going to fund you if you're going to fight on every board meeting and bring a paid group in to fight against us. No way in hell.
I agree 100%.
They don't even live here, they don't vote here, why are they here?
Yeah, it doesn't benefit them in any way, so why are they here?
The ones I'm talking about, I mean, whatever, I'll leave you out of it again, but they're not here, so you should tell them to show up.
I think we have a question here.
Hi, so,
I left the union.
I have a really quick question, so.
Oh, good, for you,
I've had
and
the
that's
privilege
great.
of living in town for almost 4 years now. It's a spectacular community, spectacular parents. I think the teachers do a really good job. I think there's a lot of positives here.
Okay, good.
What I want to understand is one thing, because I've asked about this due to my background.
Sorry, yeah.
It's come to my understanding that this board has never had a proper audit done. And when I say a proper audit, I come from the corporate world where we have third parties come in and do an independent audit. And they cannot be looked at by anyone else until the independent audit is done. And we're talking PwC, proper audits. Why has Millstone, and I'm not expecting you as the candidates to have this answer, but this is a greater question to the community. Why have we, as taxpayers, not requested a proper audit? And can I count on you, when I do vote for you both, to sum up and get a proper audit done? Because I'd like to know where my tax increases are going.
So yes, so they do state audits regularly. However, a state audit is not a cost savings audit. You know, I want to put together a budget committee with the help of everybody else on the board for the purpose of saving the taxpayers in Millstone money. Right now, we have a huge budget. We have a $45 million budget. It costs more to send students to school in Millstone than it does in most surrounding towns.
I'm sorry, did you just say a $45 million budget? That's our budget.
$1 million budget.
And we have not done an independent party. I don't want to hear about a state audit.
They don't want it.
35. Meanwhile,
The state runs out of deficit every year.
Listen, they turn it
meanwhile,
down.
35 million of that is directly from our
Tax.
property taxes. So
We're only getting funded by the state for $10 million. So that means $35 million are coming directly from everyone in this room, real estate taxes. So I'd like to have a proper audit done.
Yes, that's what we want.
I'd like to be a part of this commission if residents are allowed to be. I have a background in finance and economics. Want to be a part of it.
We are all for an independent audit. We want an independent consultant to look at our books, not for checks and balances, but to see what the contractors are asking for, how much are we paying, where is our money going? Our taxes was increased 3.3%. When we go stand in the podium and ask Bernie, the BA, where is our money going? He has no answer. He doesn't answer, all right? Then we got the audit back March 31st. The board members received it May 1st at 2:27 p.m., okay? Why? The executive committee meeting started at 6 o'clock. The board members didn't have enough time to review this.
Over 200 pages.
211 pages to be exact. And then on top of that, when I asked them if you
They
got
pulled the
this,
Nancy Pelosi, we gotta pass it to find out what's in it.
then when we asked them, I personally went on the podium and said, I said, Bernie, if this was sitting on your desk since March 31st, why the board members are getting this now? His response was, I didn't think it was important enough. To me, that was like a slap in the face, okay? Because that is our tax money. Why we don't have a say with our money? Why when we asking for an independent consultant to come in, he's giving us the runaround? But it's so easy for him to spend $6,000 on clock and even throw in a quote of $300,000 to pick up mulch. But this is something that's cost effective. We want to save money, but we want to keep our same services. But he does not allow us to. Why? He's been sitting there for too long, 20-something plus years. Okay? Oh, and he's getting $192,000, and he's
shared services.
Yeah, shared
Right?
services. Yes. Okay.
Now, there are so many good points that were brought up in just that little bit, and so much stuff to
Just
unpack.
1950?
In just those couple little
Is the mob
statements.
running?
Also, let's make one point that I remembered is that not every board member voted to not do an independent audit.
No.
We
That's
did have
understood.
some board members, men like John Seco,
Yes.
who initially proposed it. We had Deb Riley and we had James Signorella, who all decided that, yes, it's in our best interest to do a audit. It's specifically the three who are seeking re-election, who unanimously voted that you public citizens, you peons, you do not need a public audit. You will do what we said is fine in the budget and be good with it.
Hey,
So I just
Joe,
want to bring up that point.
Say it again though, so everyone knows, slower a little bit, how the paperwork was presented. A day before, so no one could
No,
review
it
it?
was the day of.
So, why do you say that again?
Okay,
So everyone understands.
I'll tell you. The audit has a deadline. The deadline was March 31st or before to be back into Bernie's hands. He received it on or before March 31st. The board members received it at 2:27 p.m. May 1st. That was a Board of Education meeting that day, okay? So they received it at 2:27. The executive committee meeting started at 6. They had no time to review this. This is 211 pages for them to review. This is our hard-earned money placed in 211 pages and basically just placed, this is all checks and balances. It doesn't tell anybody where is our money going, who's getting paid what. Only Bernie knows. But when you stand on the podium and ask Bernie a question, he doesn't tell you an answer. He doesn't tell
I know
you.
it is important to iterate, to focus on this point. I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But, so go ahead.
So I just want to add into that, the Howell was put into a budget committee, a cost-saving budget committee, which had 3 board members and 3 non-board members, just parents, where they review everything. And I'm all for that. I don't see any reason not to do that. Why not? If they could save us taxes, right? If our taxes, this year, our taxes went up, even though we had extra money. It should not have gone up with that. If we could figure out how to lower our cost of operating, then we could lower our taxes. The taxes directly affect the value of your house. Directly affects the value of the house. The town's amazing, but the taxes here are high. I know my taxes are extremely high. I would love an ability to lower my taxes.
And we don't have much to show for it. No public water, no public sewer,
That's the
septic
thing.
and well.
And you know
pay
what?
for your garbage separately. and
Exactly.
all for it, so all that should be, no free
No,
kindergarten.
that they want us
All
to-
that needs to be heard.
Yeah, and then they want to charge us for our kids playing sports. They want to charge us for any other stuff, but we're here in town. You know, we
So
don't
where's
have a high school.
$45 million going?
Exactly, that is the $1 million question. That is the $1 million
Every
question.
dime in my house.
Let me
goes
tell
down.
you. And then then when we ask, where is our money going? That's why we want an independent a consultant to come up. We need a fresh set of eyes. What happens, it gets turned down.
That's the exact point, and that's what I was gonna get to earlier. The other side, what they're going to say is that, you know what, we do an audit. We do an audit. What their audit is to say, hey, we put 100, this is a pure example, this isn't based upon anything in reality, just for anybody who might try to take what I say out of context. What their audit is an accounting. They say, okay, well, we budgeted $1,000 for XYZ project, and you spent $1,000 on the XYZ project. Good job. It doesn't examine why that project costs that much, if it could be done for cheaper, if there's any extenuating costs that
It's not a cost saving audit, it's just a finance.
It's an accounting. What they do now is not an audit. So anybody that tries to tell you that we do an audit,
But it's not the one
it's
we
not the
requested.
kind of audit we're talking about. We're talking about, the audit they're talking about, it could be better described as an accounting and not necessarily an audit.
These are why these are the candidates we need.
Yeah. John Cito over there, if he didn't vote to, what is it called, to put the bill forward for 5756. The mandate, whatever it was saying here, if it wasn't for Mr. Seco putting it forth to them, there would have been no vote. We didn't expect it that night. We were blown out of the water for that. Another thing I have to say is the PAC Center, because you're new here, I've been 18 years. PAC Center was made many years ago, you're new, right? So it was made many years ago to offset costs. They said, we're gonna bring in all these Broadway acts. There was a woman who lived in town, who was amazing. They started, what was her name? So they started doing that, so we're gonna offset taxes. So that PAC Center needs to be looked into. They used to offer it to dance groups and all, but I don't think they do much there anymore. But that was supposed to offset our taxes. That's how they got us to build that, in the middle school.
Yeah, the auditorium.
That's how they got us to vote for a budget and say, this is gonna offset your taxes, which was a lie. That PAC Center needs to be looked into too. It needs to be audited too, because it's part of school, I think. But, thank you, John. I forgot that. If it wasn't for you putting that bill forth, it would have never happened. We were blown out of the water. We didn't expect that, right? Yeah. We didn't expect
If
it.
nobody else has anything directly that they want to question or ask right now, then I'm gonna kick it over to them to ask them if there's anything that any points they want to bring up specifically. Does anybody else have any specific questions they would like to ask the candidates in front of them right now? If not, then maybe when they're talking, maybe it'll spark a question or something you want to ask. So I guess I'll kick it back over to you guys if there's anything that you want to say.
Yes, I do. There's a couple of points that I have here that I want to speak about. And I don't want to speak for Howard. Let me just have this clear. We're not a team, but we see eye to eye and we have the same basically platform. We want the same things for the town, okay? At the end, we're not a team, but we're here as a team because we want the same things for our children, our community, and our district, okay? Yes. So, a major point, I don't understand why administrators make a generous salary. Each administrator should spend 5 days a week in Millstone schools and not 4 days a week, like the BA, and 3 days a week like the director of curriculum. If that is the case, why are those positions not part-time? I do not understand. Now, a little background on our BA, right? I don't understand how our board administrator, who has been budgeting our district for over 20 years with a salary of over $192,000, has entered into a short service agreement providing him with either a $10,410 increase in salary or a $10,410 stipend. Has group family health prescription and dental plan, entitled to car allowance of $150 a month, reimbursed for graduate courses at an accredited institution, entitled to 12 sick days, allowing for unused days to accumulate with a limit, accumulated sick leave retirement benefit plan, 24 vacation days, as well as paid holidays, professional dues paid by the board with a $1,600 maximum, has assistance, and is entitled to all this when he is a part-time individual working only 4 days out of 5 days a week. He is also managing 2 other districts, which are Roosevelt and New Hanover, does not live in Millstone, okay? Therefore, nothing that happens here benefits him or affects him in any shape or form. I believe this is such an astronomical contract for a part-timer. How many residents here do not even know this information? No, many residents do not know this. This is public knowledge, okay? Let alone his contractual agreement, which, by the way, is being paid by our hard-earned money. So why does he have so much say on where our tax money goes? And when we stand in the podium and ask him for a reason or an explanation, why are you considering $300,000 on mulch or even $6,000 on clocks? We do not get a response. Why? It's our money. It's our money that's actually paying his salary. Why we don't have a say in that, right? But then it's so easy for him to increase our taxes 3.3%. But we want answers. It's our money. It's our money that's benefiting him. Why? Why? Exactly. That's why we want a consultant. We want a person with a fresh set of eyes to come in and look at what we have to offer. We want to save money. We want to make sure that we're all able to afford our homes. We don't need our taxes to be increased anymore, right? And it's not fair for those people that are actually sending their kids out of district because they don't like how we're teaching in the schools. But then what happened to their tax money? It's still being taken, right? So why can't they take their tax money and send to another district? Why are they still taking our money and their kids are being sent to another district just because they don't like how we're teaching in Millstone? That's not fair for them. If they don't have a say, then you know what? They can take their money elsewhere, all right? But then we want answers. And where's our answers? We don't get answers. We stand there and we basically look foolish because he doesn't even answer us. He will sit proudly on the board with everybody else, but he basically disregards what we have to say. Why? Why? It's not fair. And enough is enough. We need change. And that's why we're here, because we're concerned. We're concerned for our district, our children, you know, everything else that's going on.
Thank you.
It's illogical not to hold people accountable, and it's illogical for you as taxpayers and residents of Millstone to not get answers. You know, if we get on the board, you know, we want to see some things better. We want to make it better for everybody. I love it here. I want to stay here for a long period of time, but everybody should be accountable for what their job is and what the spending is in the township. It seems ridiculous to me. You know, if it was a private industry, we absolutely would do you know, financial audits and cost saving.
As a majority, you can mandate that?
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
But the 3 that we have on the board can make a change. They want to make change until they turn blue to the face. But because we're outvoted, the majority says no, there's nothing that can be done. There's nothing. So if Millstone wants change, we got to start now. November 7th, you got to vote accordingly. Let's keep in mind, Kathy Weinkauf voted no for the policy change, 5756. Mark McClafferty also. So in other words, he's letting you know what, I really don't care if the teachers are raising your kids or they're hiding something from you. You know why?
Look at their campaign signs. What are their campaigns?
Experience leadership.
Experience.
Yeah. How is that an
Are
experience
you guys
leader?
satisfied with the experience that you've had over the last few years? Because these people have been in here for a while. Are you satisfied? Do you feel like they have your best interest at heart?
Biden has a lot of experience.
So what? Yeah.
It's a clown
They
show.
got a lot of experience in doing what? In being incompetent, and they have experience at, you know,
Being a clown.
at not keeping your best interest at heart. So that's why we need change, because don't let them fool you when they try to claim that they have experience. Because you have to realize the experience they had is the experience that led us into the position, into the dissatisfied position that we are right now.
Make sure everyone knows, majority of the taxes that we pay go to schools. Make sure everyone knows that.
75%.
75% of our taxes that we pay go to schools.
And if nobody's monitoring how the school's spending the money, doesn't work. It just
So if you're
doesn't
paying
make sense.
$20,000 a year in taxes, if my math's right, you're paying
15.
15 of it to schools.
Correct.
So let that sink in.
Okay, another
To have teachers not
important
suffer.
thing, yes, I feel like security is very highly. We need security. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on nowadays. I want to be able to send my kids to school and know that my kids will come back in one piece, safe and sound. And I feel like with this going on, the teachers actually pushing the fact that, oh no, we're protecting you, you want to be a boy, that's fine, you're good here. It's not helping us. It's a disadvantage for us parents that care. It's just not fair. Again, it's very discouraging the way that you trust a teacher with your kid and basically they do whatever they want with them for the 8 hours that they're spending there. And we're trusting these teachers. Why? You know, they should be on our side because at sometimes they're even parents as well. They're parents and I don't appreciate what they're doing with our children. Another thing that Howard, and you can agree with me too, we need a finance committee placed. You know, we don't have that. We don't have someone to oversee our money. We just have Bernie saying, yes, this, yes, 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 whatever is to his benefit, but at the end, nothing is monitored, reviewed, approved. It's only for his eyes only, and I don't think that's right.
That's
Okay?
gotta stop this year.
Yes,
That's gotta stop.
100%.
And then he puts it in front of the board, and then part of the board
The
just
majority.
rubber stamp it without
The
looking at it.
majority. We can't say that because I don't
have no
know.
idea.
But
Kathy Weintraub, yeah. Work for the NJEA.
But we are fortunate now that all the schools have armed police officers, and from a security standpoint, that's a very, very good start. Outside of, protecting our children from within the walls, but,
Is there a police officer at each school or is one guy share multiple schools?
no, there's a police officer in each school.
Oh, that's
There's,
okay.
yes.
Because I think before, a lot of the teams got together, I think it was one.
I believe
So
it
maybe
is.
we should mention
We
that.
fought for that.
Yeah.
Got it done.
I'm in a unique position.
Why don't you say
because
that?
I have not seen, at these meetings or anything, I happen to be a product of Millstone Township Schools. Most of the kids I went to school with have moved away, they're not in town anymore. So I can't speak to how they feel. I'm one of the products of Millstone Township Schools that is still here in Millstone Township. So I have an invested interest in a different way as I grew up in these schools. And I want to continue to see them succeed like when I was a lot younger than I am today. I know I don't look that old, but I'm 38. So I went up through the schools now. I have kids that are entering into the schools. And it's a little scary, some of the stuff that you see coming, entering their way into the curriculum, because is that what I'm gonna be subjecting my children to? I remember when I went to school here, Millstone schools were top 5, I think, in the country. So we were way, way, way up there. I mean, my wife, God bless her, she did not have the benefit of growing up here in Millstone when I did. And when we talk about some of the disparities between her education and my education, it's astounding how overwhelmingly above and beyond Millstone schools really were when you compare them to other schools. I would hate to see that fade away for the benefit of some of this crazy stuff that we're hearing about here today. I would like to see a bigger focus on the reading, writing, arithmetic, especially because of the lull because of COVID. Let's get our kids back up to pace with where they should be academically. And leave it up to the parents to teach maybe some of these details of the weird and wild world that's out there. You know what I mean?
Well said.
Another thing I'm big on is the school lunches. There's nothing healthy about how our kids are eating right now. It's disgusting, okay? And then on top of that, we're paying for this. Why are we feeding our kids disgusting food? My kids won't even eat it. They put a little lettuce and tomato and call it healthy. Why? Why we don't see this? And if you don't put it in, if you're not gonna put it in your mouth and you're gonna eat it, why should we feed our children this? Why we don't find another contractor that offers us something better for the same price? You know, isn't our kids' health a priority? If so, why we haven't made that change? And that's something that I want change. You know, another thing, I believe in transparency and accountability, and I want to serve as a bridge to be able to have the town know the stuff that is happening in the board and what's happening in our district. I don't understand why we're residents, we're taxpayers, but most of the stuff are hidden from us. Why? You know, it's not right and it's not fair. There's a lot of stuff that go behind closed doors, and I get there's things that need to be kept, you know, away from us for any reason, but at the end, we have a right to know what's going on, and it's not right. You know, at the end, we're feeding into this. They're using our money to do what they think at that point feels or fits best, but how do they know what's good for our kids? You know, there's people there that they're not thinking about our children's safety, they're not thinking our children's health, they're not thinking about our children, period. But then they sit there and think they are or say they are. They already had their time in the board. That shows exactly what they have done. Nothing. They haven't done nothing. All they've done is increase our taxes, try to pass our policy 5756, and God knows if they get reelected, what's going to happen. Therefore, if parents do not want that type of change, you know, we need to move forward with new candidates and a new set of eyes for everything else. We can have, when you sitting there for too long, you get comfortable. And that's what's happening now. They're too comfortable. They feel I need the power or I have the power. My kid is here. They're going to receive whatever it's not right. What about the other kids? Every kid deserves an opportunity, whether you sit on the board or not. Every kid.
And you hit on the point that I keep on saying. They keep touting experience. Their experience is at being entitled. Go ahead.
On the school lunch, I don't even understand it because they, you know, we want our children to eat healthy and to have edible food. I had 10, 14-year-old girls over my house on Saturday night, and we were talking about school lunch, and none of them will eat the school lunches. So, you know, I think that children deserve it at whatever price. We have such a big budget. We need to hold the vendor accountable. We need to make sure that the kids are nutritionally fed and that they're eating edible food. And there are lots of ways to be able to control that. There's a lot of amazing things. There are a lot of amazing teachers in the school district. Not everything is bad, but we do need some change in town, and we need accountability. And the people some of the people that are on the board now don't seem to care. They don't even look at what they're doing. They just sign off on anything. And we need change. We need things to get better. And if it gets better, it'll get better for the students. It'll get better for all the taxpayers. And that's our ultimate goal.
I agree. I also feel that when we stand on that podium, or we even take our time and go to these Board of Education meetings, we deserve respect. We stand there, we giving them our all because we care, and they basically look at us like we're aliens. You know, we don't get answers.
Well, here's the other thing. They were elected to represent you. You have to realize something. These are parents in town. These are parents that are so dissatisfied by the representation they have on the board that they decided to run for themselves. Okay? So it's not like they're just newcomers. There are people that have saw this incompetence and said, you know what, that's enough. I'm a parent in town and I'm going to get involved because I care about what's happening with my children.
Speaking on what Karina just said, being looked down upon is not the word. I went to a meeting only because, first one I ever went to, I wanted to see how it worked, what was going on. I asked a question, I forgot what it was. They said, say your name and address into the microphone. I did. And then they asked me, how long you been in Millstone? And at that time it was about 2 years. Now it's almost 7. They said, okay, welcome to the town. They didn't even answer my question. That's the way they look down on here. So everyone needs to really keep that in mind when you're choosing your candidates and choosing them as well.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have heard that many times before. The question of how long have you been in town and the negative response when it hasn't been deemed long enough by those who have been here long enough. Now, those people that usually bring up that question haven't even been in town as long as I have. I've been in town long enough, then pretty much 90% of Millstone families, the Boris family has been here longer than.
1968.
So, you know,
$40
but that being said, that's all well and good that we've been here forever. Just because you came here a year ago doesn't mean that you have no voice and that you're not allowed to speak and talk about what is concerning to you because you haven't been here, quote unquote, long enough.
As long as your taxes are paid, you have
Yeah,
say.
finally got some, you know.
I don't even care if you're up to date on your taxes. All I care is that do you live here? If you live here, you have a say in what your children are being taught.
They're not weak anymore, we finally got some with a little bit of, you know.
Let's kick it back over to the candidates. Does anybody else have any other questions? If not, I'm going to kick it back over to the candidates. Anything else you guys want to say?
Okay. I am 100% against the schools raising our kids. I am 100% for parental rights. Okay, that's something that I highly fall for. I feel like we, like I said, more than anybody know when we should teach our kids about sex. We should protect them. We know what's hurting. We know if we have that communication with our children, we will know. Because I know the parents sometimes, they have no communication with the kids, but I don't feel like other kids should take the blame for that or take, you know, certain mandates away or whatever just because those kids need to, or teachers feel like they need to be protected. It starts from home. And you need to, in order for you to kind of, you're putting together someone, like a kid, you're raising them, you're teaching them their values and everything else. And if the communication does start from home, they're going to start hiding from you. They're going to hide anything they can because if they don't feel supported at home, they're going to find someone else that's going to support them. And what happens? They're going to get advice wrongfully. And then you know what? At the end, you're going to take the blame because you were not there to work with your kids, to communicate with your kids, you know. So therefore, it starts from home, you know. Now, another thing, there was a book fair, and then we had these random books. I mean, really? These are like 9, 10, 11-year-olds, you know. It's crazy how we can have these books in the school about gay relationships. Why? Why? I don't understand why the school or who keeps pushing this into our children. Why? Why can't we not let kids be kids?
Who's ordering them? That's what
Exactly. I don't get it. You know,
ordering them.
Yeah, somebody is. And it's not, you know, again, it's about the children. We want to make sure they're well behaved, they're grounded, they're acknowledged, they're loved, you know, and all that starts from home. All of that starts from home.
I know I had mentioned it before, but being, like I had said before, being a product of Millstone Township Schools, I remember going to the book fair. It had to have been somewhere between 6th and 8th. 6th grade, we were still in what is currently the primary school. So you'd have to look back to see exactly, I'd have to figure out exactly what grade I was in. But I remember going to the book fair and seeing, I had mentioned this to Karina before, seeing the book, It's Perfectly Natural. Now, when you're a child and you're looking at books that are on the shelf, publicly available at the book fair, you're expecting that they're going to be child-friendly, right? Like Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that, or even maybe Goosebumps if you want to get a little bit edgy at the time to date myself, you know, the Goosebumps books. But then I remember there was this book, and they've updated it, and I've heard it's even worse now, so I can't speak to what's in the book currently, but this book is still available. It's Perfectly Natural. In there were depictions of nude body types, different methods of masturbation. And I remember my father's in the room right here. He's the man that's sitting right back in the corner there. I remember thinking, if my father ever knew that I even looked at this book, I would be in trouble. So I never even mentioned it. But now I'm looking back on it and saying, you know, I should have mentioned it. What was that kind of thing doing? As a kid, I was so horrified by what I saw. It was like, I better not let my parents know what I just saw publicly available in the school book fair. Otherwise, I felt like I would somehow be in trouble. I was too young to realize it wasn't nothing that I did. The school shouldn't have been providing this kind of stuff at the book fair.
Well said.
I would just like to make a statement.
Sure.
I am super. Concerned. You can't get, that's my daughter, you can't get this more super concerned. But I think the point that you're all missing is that this is not coming from our town or the town.
Give her the microphone. I can't.
This is coming from the people that were voted into this government as
Sorry,
as the Prager University lady says, when Biden got in office, the first day, 45 executive orders were passed by him. And every one of them had to do with what you guys are saying. You're only going to be able to get away with this for a while, okay? Why is the board doing this? Why is the board doing that? Because the teachers' unions are liberals. The teachers' unions are feeding back to the Democrats the money that the teachers are putting into the unions, okay? So they're listening, the teachers are listening to, quote, their bosses. And the unions are listening to their bosses, which happen to be the Secretary of Education and the moron that's in office. So you guys are only going to be able to get away with this for so long, and that's great, because I'm 100% on your side. But the reason these committees are coming into these schools, because they're going back to say who's not doing what they want them to do, okay? And the reason that they're not paying any attention to the parents is because that's what's happening in the other states. They're putting in the FBI to go to the parents' houses when they don't agree, and it's mostly in the liberal states, because you have governors who are against it as well. But when you live in a state like New Jersey, and all the other states just like this, it's only going to work for so long. So if we don't vote these people out, up and here, it's never going to change. It's only going to get worse. So we can yell and scream all we want, but it's going to eventually come back to haunt us, one way or the other, okay?
But we're here because we want change, and we have the best intentions. There are certain things that you can't control, but you don't have a rubber stamp and say yes to everything.
Right.
And if we as a township disagree with something strongly, we should speak up and.
But only for a while, because this is happening all over the place.
It is, but just because somebody else is doing something, it doesn't mean that it's correct. If you
Those
follow
books that you're talking about, they've been mandated from Washington to be in every school library, okay, every one of them. The committees up in Washington, in the House of Representatives, because they're the next Republican, are fighting these books, and they're actually reading them in the committee hearings. And the other side doesn't want to hear it. I mean, you've seen some of the board meetings, I'm sure, at other places, where they're throwing parents out because they don't like what they're reading. But yet that's what they want to teach the kids. And I'm going to speak for Frank, who's not here. One of the first things that his kids got, the first, second day of school, please let us know what your daughter or son want to be known as. He, she, him, they, their, that. So it's all over. It's just how much can you fight it until somebody tells on us?
Well, we can't answer that question, but what I can answer is that as long as we're sitting on the board, we will try our hardest.
So the FBI comes after you.
Listen,
That's okay.
just sitting here and running for the board, let me tell you, it puts us as family members, as, you know, residents, as we're out there. you know? And people are going to want to just basically drag your name in the mud because they don't want you up there because you know you mean business. And I personally mean business. I want to be on the board and I want change. I want to make sure all kids are safe. Not my kids, all kids are safe. I want to make sure that what we do is proper. We're losing our values. What happened to our values? What happened to respecting our elders? You know, this is all stuff that we're losing out,
Well,
you
see
know?
what's happening around this country.
Yes, I know, you know? But we need like-minded people to sit on the board and make change. Because let me tell you, if we want change, go vote for who you feel is best representing you on the board.
Don't sit home and not vote and then complain about everything that you see. You have to step up and show your support so that we can have change in this.
We really should encourage people coming to the board meetings too.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
That's-
and it's very hard
It's
to
so
know when
eye-opening
these things
when
are.
you-
You
And
have
that's
to know
another
someone to
reason why
post that.
these candidates have decided to do their meet and greet in this format rather than the other candidates who are seeking re-election, because their questions are screened. They will only allow you to ask the questions they want to answer. As you've seen, these candidates here have answered every question directly from you. I've left it open to YouTube as well for anybody watching to ask a question. They haven't so far. Have you seen that from the other side?
Listen,
I would like to ask you, have you seen that from the other side? The answer is no, you have not seen that from the other side. They want to screen your questions and only answer the ones that they are comfortable with. Because honestly, they do not have your best interest at heart.
We stand for transparency, and that's what we need. We want transparency. We don't want nothing hidden from us. We don't want anything hidden from our children. We don't want something to come out of left field and slap us in the face because it was something that was brewing and all of a sudden we didn't have a say and here it is. No, we want to make sure parents know, they're informed, and they're involved. That's what we need. In order to continue having a great district and a great community, we need to come together, staff, district, everybody, the parents, you know, board of the members of the board, we need to all be together because if you think about it, we're all for the same purpose, the children. At the end is what matters most, the children.
So just to summarize, you know, my personal background, you know, I own several businesses, I employ quite a few people. But we have very good check and balance systems in place. I'm all about, if somebody wanted to come in and try to help me save money on my budget and help me save electricity or cost of goods or anything else, I'm all about that, as I feel the township should be as well. So I look at it, and part of the reason, the only reason that I'm here is because I see things that don't make sense to me. It's not run the way that a business should be run, or the way that I would expect my household to be run. And I look at it and I see so much waste, and I don't understand why the cost is so high here. When I moved here, you know, my taxes are extremely high, and I can get farmland preserved, right? I have 9 acres of land, but I don't feel right doing it. I feel wrong. I mean, you know, it doesn't seem like I should be able to get away with paying $5,000 instead of what I pay. It doesn't make sense to me. So what my purpose of being here is I'm very financially oriented. I want to hold people financially accountable so I can see if you can save a few $1 million off our budget on an annual basis. It not change anything for the students except improve their quality of experience at the school district. Try to improve the lunch, which to me is extremely important. I think all of us should go in there and taste the lunch and see if it's edible. And if it's not edible, somebody has to be held accountable. So when I brought it up, they told me, oh, that's very difficult. Well, it could be that that's difficult. I don't care. I don't care. I want the kids to be able to eat, and they deserve to be able to eat. And sometimes they're not
And
getting better.
with a budget of $45 million, we should be able to easily afford
Filet mignon every day.
any changes that would be required to provide our kids.
Another thing that I was also thinking about is, like they were mentioning, 75% of our budget goes to the school. So I get really ticked off when I come home the first day of school and they're asking me for 3 dozen pencils or 48 pencils. They're asking for Post-its and index cards, and Sharpies and the Expo erasers and the Expo this and all these stuff when we're already paying into the school? Why can't we budget our $43 million and have a reserve where teachers can actually buy their supplies, whatever they need, instead of coming out from the parents? Now, if the parents feel from their heart they want to donate, fine, but why does it need to be like a need? Like they make us have to give this in. Don't request 48 pencils. My son is not going to use 48 pencils. They're not going to use 4 packs of Post-its. They're not going to use Expo pens or markers. Why are they sending them? If someone is doing the budget, it should be done accordingly. It should be done appropriately, and it should be budgeted correctly. And it's not being budgeted. Again, we ask for answers and we never get them. We don't know where money's going to. It should be placed in the right places instead of, oh, we need the siding, we need this, we need that. We don't even get a set answer. We don't get an answer. On May 1st, I went to the Board of Education meeting. I requested an answer. They said they were going to email me. It's now October 16. I have not received an email. I haven't received my response.
You know what you could ask? I just did the numbers because Howard gave it to me. He said 27,000 a kid and 1,400 kids. That's 38 though. It's not 3.7.
No, I tell you.
So if that 27,000 is accurate, you should really get somebody to break down how that 27,000 kids break.
It's 43 million budget. We have 1,695 students. That's about 25,369 per student that we're paying.
That's about what he said.
That's what we're paying. We're paying more than other towns around us.
Assuming it's all going to.
Exactly.
Substantially more than other towns.
But then why are we not budgeting this accordingly? That's what I'm saying.
That includes.
Yeah, but then at the end also teachers are sending a list of what they want, you know, and they're taking it out of the parents, but we're already giving the school enough money for them to do these things. Why are we paying double for these things? It's not right, and there's people that can afford it, there's people that cannot afford it. You know, they can't just assume because we're in Millstone, we're rich. You know, there's people that work hard. Exactly, and it's not fair that someone can just, you know, take our money and not even tell us where it's going. It's not right.
First person in
You know what, that's a good point.
What'd she say? I
Well,
missed it.
we appreciate you taking the time to come here tonight and to listen to us. You know, here's 4 new candidates, 4 people that have not been on the board prior, including myself and Karina. I'm number 7. I'm on the bottom of the list.
I'm
Karina's
number
5, right? The other people that are like-minded, in my opinion, are also number 3, which is Nancy, and 2,
that
which
is
is
Ron.
Ron.
And we all stand on the same platform. We want change.
Right.
You know, and in order for us to do something and make change, we need to see you guys go out there and vote. We're not here to
And
tell you
encourage
who
other
to
people to
vote,
vote, yeah.
but just keep in mind that the board represents you. And the board, if you feel like we represent you, then, you know, you can vote for us. So I'm 5 and Howard is 7. We appreciate you guys for coming out here, for giving us your time, and, you know.
If you spread the word, we appreciate it. You can get people out there to vote.
The big thing to remember is that the people seeking re-election, if you are not satisfied with the representation that you have had, then you need to make it your priority to make sure that those people do not get re-elected. And you need to elect some people who have promised to keep your interests as parents as their #1 priority, which is more than the other side who have preached their experience have ever done. They don't ever run on a platform of, you know what, we're going to do what you want. We're going to represent you as parents. They run on a platform of, we know better. I've been doing this a long time. I know better than you. Vote for me. If that's what you want, if you like the path that we've been going down, then I guess those are your candidates. But if you feel like we need a serious change, these are 2 of your candidates right here.
If you're going up to the middle school, up the driveway, that's everybody you want to vote for, on the right-hand side of the driveway.
Get the word out, private property, so no one can touch those signs.
That's private property, nobody can touch
I
those
like
signs.
auditory monikers.
I'm wondering
and
if that's
stuff
her
like that.
property. Is that your property?
146 makes me sick.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Remember, everything here on Millstone Township News is free. If you'd like to donate, there'll be a link in the description or something somewhere. Have a good night, everybody, and keep informed.
Oh, you had to go through that. Yeah, still here. I'm sorry. You do gotta be careful.